future, when do you think there'll be an announcement? Because honestly, we're all exhausted.
Imagine how I feel.
Yeah.
It'll be a while. We have a lot of work to do before we start casting.
Okay, that's what I need to know.
But we're on the case.
Miss Moneypenny, you know, when it comes to protecting a certain franchise, 007 comes to mind. And yes, while I'm evoking the great Sean Connery's dulcet Glaswegian tones, he probably isn't from there, I think he's probably from Edinburgh actually, I've got to say that, yeah, James Bond, one of the icons I grew up with as a kid, really filled my mind with fantasies of beautiful women on an expensive yacht, in an expensive location. Love all that shit. Wear an expensive watch. I normally go down the route of picking out certain budding young actors who are capable of being 007, but I'm going to give you the Kung Fu hot dog roadmap for the future of this franchise. You heard right, it's a roadmap, and I strongly suspect Amy Pascal, the woman who made Spider-Man very successful and whose job now is to make James Bond very successful, because again, you've got her and Barbara Broccoli working in cahoots with each other. Yes, even though Broccoli has retired from the franchise, she's still a consultant somehow, because nothing says betrayal from a daughter to her father, in this case the great Albert Cubby Broccoli, who left the reins of Bond to Barbara, and for the time being she was actually pretty good until she got rid of Pierce Brosnan and brought in Daniel Craig, who we know she was secretly in love with, but she'll never ever admit it. She's probably shagged him as well, but I guess we'll never know that too. It's all rife to speculation, right folks? But if you end up enjoying this video today, make sure you give it a like, smash that subscribe button like it was a license to kill, and let's get on with today's video.
Who are you?
Bond, James Bond. Exercise Control 007 here. I'll report in an hour.
Won't you join me?
Better make that two.
Watch this space.
The next half hour.
She brings you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've all seen the infamous AI image of Ellen Page as 007. I think she'll end up in the brand new film as Miss Moneypenny, which would be absolutely hysterical. Please, MGM, please, Denis Villeneuve, please do that, just so we can get more content and farm it until our lungs explode. But something that we should take seriously is the appearance of Amy Pascal, who in this picture next to Tom Holland and his wife or fiance Zendaya looks a lot more like the troubled persona of Jimmy Savile. Amy Savile? Amy Savile? I mean, she's joined the Ozempic Club. I mean, this is the most ridiculous picture I've ever seen. Who is the stylist for Amy Pascal? Honestly, somebody should have pulled her aside and said, listen, Amy, you look like that convicted sex felon they call Jimmy Savile from the UK. You might want to re-dye your hair, love. But that aside, folks, this is what she had to say. So while Amy Savile, Pascal, was doing the rounds with Spider-Man Brand New Day, this is what Deadline actually asked her. What's the timeline on James Bond? Do you think we might have some news toward the end of the rear about who might play him? Which, again, I like that question because already it's assumed that Bond will be a bloke, which he should be. That's how he was birthed, by Ian Fleming. Now, Pascal says, I would say the end of the year is a good bet. We are being really, really methodical. Having worked with Babs Broccoli at the studio, Daniel Craig is a hard act to follow. No, he wasn't. Only after Casino Royale, and then it went downhill from there. Although I do have a bit of a soft spot for Skyfall. It's got to be something really different that is a stirring and exciting and different. So two different in the same sentence, Amy Pascal. She really needs to lay off the Ozempic pills. Now, if I said to you, Richard Grieco is Michael Corbin in Teen Agent, If Looks Could Kill, which is the American title of that 1991 movie, it's an absolutely fantastic pistache and send-up and spoof of James Bond if he were a teenager.
Richard Grieco.
First class.
Mistaken for a spy.
I can drive this baby out of here.
Right now, right? Yeah.
In the case of this film, if you've not seen it, I highly urge you to get this film. Why Warner Brothers won't release this on Blu-ray or even a 4K release is beyond me, because even though it's a PG film, it's got some dark elements and it's pretty funny, and it does actually embrace the ethos and the spirit of what made the James Bond films really, really good.
All he has to do is rescue a beautiful girl, save Europe, graduate high school. What have you done? This one like this.
We're here with Amy Pascal. This is an incredible movie. What does it feel like to get this off the ground running?
Look, it's fantastic. People are out. People are excited.
I'm sure they are out.
Spider-Man. It's great.
She's clearly on drugs.
Spider-Man, talking about the love of Spider-Man. He's so relatable. What makes Spider-Man so beloved by all?
I think because Spider-Man means something different to everyone at different ages in their life.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a little kid, it means one thing. When you're a teenager, something else. And when you're grown up, something else. You know, it's a boy who's always struggling with being good, and I think we all
white boy.
understand that.
Now, personally, this is what I think they're going to do with 007. If I was sat in the director's chair at MGM, this is what I would suggest. Get Bond as a 20-something-year-old, because Timothy Dalton, when he was offered on Her Majesty's Secret Service back in the day, 1968-69, he felt that at the age of 24, 25, he was too young to play a world-weary and very experienced 007 agent who's licensed to kill. I kind of disagree with that, because I think Dalton at that time would have brought something fresh and nuanced to the role, but we didn't. We had to wait until 1987 to get him in The Living Daylights, and then subsequently after that, 2 years later, Licensed to Kill, two of the best Bond films in the franchise ever. So what I think they're going to do with this is that they'll start off Bond probably as towards the end of his teenage years, maybe 18 or 19. You want to see him evolve. So from 20 to about 35, you got that good lineage of maybe 3 or 4 James Bond films directed by capable people that know the character inside and out. And maybe perhaps MGM Amazon, you might hire me for free and I can give you some carte blanche bullet points to adhere to, right? So that's the one plan they can go with, and I think really that's the most sensible one. If you want to, quote Amy Pascal, be something different, that's the difference I think they will go with.
Commander James Bond, recruited to the British Secret Service from the Royal Navy, licensed to kill, and has done so on numerous occasions. Many lady friends, but married only once.
Whether the audience accepts it or not depends on who they cast in the role. Now, I know I said it in my intro that I wouldn't go down the casting call route again and this is who they're going to pick, but because Miss Pascal has got a bit of a close affiliation with Tom Holland, I don't want him to be cast as 007. People just will not take him seriously at all in that role, because he's already ingrained in the public psyche as Peter Parker / Spider-Man, and I think he does an incredible job in that role anyway. So I think that's the one way they're going to go with it. That's my roadmap for Bond. Have somebody young, and we're going to see them on screen for at least up to 15 years. People are now saying, well, they're going to take Bond back to the 60s because, again, Mike Myers was able to bring that in the 90s with Austin Powers and did it successfully.
Why don't you ever model for me, Mrs. Kensington?
You know how Mr. Kensington feels about that.
Oh, behave. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Can they recreate that now for a modern audience? I don't know. People are going to have a problem with women wearing short skirts and high boots because that was the flair of the 60s, right? Are they going to have a problem with that? Also, the actual fact of reproducing those eras again might be a pain in the ass for Hollywood. Who knows at this stage? They might take liberties with the license. Who knows? But I honestly think that maybe going back to the 60s, I don't think it's going to happen, because it's the only chance you're going to get now to revisit the novels of Ian Fleming and make some corrections. Although if you have read Ian Fleming's books, they can border on being racist, very violent, very misogynistic. That's what makes Bond who he is, right? I'm not saying Bond, by the way, is a racist, but there are overtones of that in certain novels, or a specific novel. If I remember correctly, like Live and Let Die is one, But anyway, that aside, folks, if people think that Bond's going to go back to the 60s, I think that's just wish fulfillment. I don't think it will happen. They'll probably set it in a different timeline that's a bit ambiguous. You're probably going to have to use your world-weary knowledge and think, what era or decade are they pigeonholing Bond in for the time being? But honestly, MGM, Amazon, we'll see if they're going to fuck it up. They probably will. But if they don't, I'll be really surprised. And honestly, I think if you're going to go down the road with Bond, start him off at this age and put him through his paces, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Because again, we had the Bond game First Light this year, which did pretty well, not as well as people thought it did, and that might be the template for what you're going to get in the future. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you ended up enjoying this video today, please leave a comment below, smash that subscribe button, and if I were you and if you were me, I will catch you catching me for the return of the next video.
Hi, I'm Plenty.
But of course you are.
Plenty O'Toole.
Named after your father, perhaps?
Don't let your dreams be dreams. Dream of me. I'll make your dreams come true. Everything's possible with me.